Mass deportation could lead to Sunday law. Well, there's actually quite more to that. Now, it's no secret that ICE is cracking down. Get it? ICE is cracking down. It's no secret that ICE is cracking down on illegal immigrants here in America. Remember that President Trump had mentioned something about the largest deportation operation in the history of America or something like that. Well, it has begun. About 1,000 illegal immigrants, or possibly more, have been arrested on Sunday. A friend of mine actually put me up on this. Check this out. This is an article that I've been reading. Trump's trade and deportation plans could be disastrous for the U.S. food supply. On President Trump's first day in office, he signed a sweeping executive order on immigration, threatened to impose a broad range of tariffs, including 25% tariffs on goods imported into the United States from Mexico and Canada, that he said would go into effect in February 1. Immigrants play a vital role in the U.S. agricultural workforce. They make up approximately 61% of farm workers, according to the most recent available data. But as of 2022 U.S. Department of Labor survey, 42% were not legally authorized to work in the country, meaning they were undocumented. This would presumably be part of the group that President Trump and his team have targeted to deport. Most people probably assume the undocumented group is unskilled labor, but are in interviews with 4 growers with operations in Florida and California, and people at industry associations suggest the opposite. We would lose a lot of our skilled workers, said one California strawberry grower. Some of our more skilled people have been here for 20 to 30 years and they speak English. One profile that he shared was that of a highly skilled supervisor who makes important daily decisions on planting and harvesting. Another was a skilled mechanic. A third was a crew boss with decades of experience. So, as you guys can tell, these are people that have skills. People that we might even rely on when it comes to food and these things. Now, I'm going to skip on down to where it says the dangers of tariffs and deportations. President Trump's threats of tariffs on Mexico, Canada, and China will make many fruits and vegetables more expensive, which means food shortages probably. More expensive, contributing to inflation. Between 2007 and 2021, according to the most recent available data, import shares of asparagus, avocados, bell peppers, blueberries, broccoli, cauliflower, cucumbers, raspberries, snap beans, and tomatoes all increased by 20% points or more. Now look ahead and think about what exactly might happen if there is a food shortage or a spike in the prices of food here in America. Now I know that those in office are smart enough to have a plan when it comes to food shortages and food prices, the spike in food prices. But are those good plans? Are they biblical plans? I don't know. But look ahead and think about what could happen. Now, do we see why country living is so important? Growing your own foods, living off of your own land, and being independent from the government and stores and all these things. If the Amish could do it, so can we. Now, we spent some time with the Amish, observing the Amish in Indiana not so long ago. If they can do it, so can we. If Abraham was able to do it, so can we. If Isaac, Jacob, and Moses were able to do it, and even Jesus were able to do it, then so can we. Start thinking about these things, because remember that the Bible mentions about food rations or food shortages, or even the prices in food spiking. The Bible actually mentions that. If you guys have not yet watched From Babylon to America, From America to Babylon, please watch those 2 documentaries. If you guys want to know more about the beast and the second beast, the mark of the beast, the Antichrist, why the mark of the beast is in the forehead, the right hand, those 2 documentaries are 2 documentaries that I would recommend. Links are in the description box below. It's good to watch those 2 documentaries, because if you don't know prophecy, then what we're about to get into, what I might say, right now, the next couple minutes might not make sense to some of you guys. Remember, Revelation 13 tells us that the second beast, that's America, causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the what? The mark of the beast, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name. One of the biggest necessities, or even perhaps the primary, or I guess one of the primary necessities for us as human beings, is food. I would imagine that when it comes to spending, food is most likely at the top of the charts for us as human beings. The mark of the beast is inevitably going to affect our buying and selling, the buying and selling food, or even availability of food. Touch someone's food and you will be able to get them to do whatever you want. People become slaves for food. People become slaves for food. In Philippians 3, starting from verse 17, Paul says, "Brethren, be followers together of me, and mark them which walk so as ye have us for an ensample. For many walk, of whom I have told you often, and now tell you even weeping, that they are enemies of the cross of Christ, whose end is destruction, whose God is their" what? "belly, and whose glory is in their shame, who mind earthly things." Sometimes we become enslaved to food and the earthly delicacies that this world has to offer. We don't want simple food. Food drives us to do whatever it is that is within our human desires. Put a regulation between man and food, and man will most likely comply to those regulations if they don't control the food, if they don't control their own food. Imagine if that regulation was the mark of the beast. This is why country living is so important. Remember, in Genesis 47, when there was a food shortage during Joseph's time, and not only food shortage, but there was a spike in the prices of food during Joseph's time. People were desperate for food, and understandably so, that they began to sell themselves as slaves to Pharaoh, or to the king, or to the president at that time. There was a famine there in Egypt during that time. The first year of the famine, the people spent their money to buy food from those who controlled the food during that time. In that case, it was Joseph and of course Pharaoh. When the people spent all their money, they had to sell their cattle. But the second year, the people had nothing to spend, and so they said to Joseph in verses 18 and 19, "We will not hide it from my Lord, how that our money is spent. My Lord also hath our herds and cattle. There is not aught left in the sight of my Lord, but our bodies and our lands. Wherefore shall we die before thine eyes, both we and our land? Buy us," they said, "buy us and our land for bread, and we and our land will be servants unto Pharaoh," they said. "And give us seed that we may live and not die, that the land is not desolate." So they sold themselves as servants to Pharaoh. People started to sell themselves as servants to the president at that time. That's Pharaoh. Whoever controls the food controls the people. They can potentially make it so that you give up your salvation for food. What is a birthright in the Bible? In the Bible, a birthright refers to the special privileges and inheritance given to someone. In 1 Corinthians 6, it says, "Know ye not that the unrighteous shall not inherit the kingdom of God? Be not deceived, neither fornicators, nor idolaters, nor adulterers, nor effeminate, nor abusers of themselves with mankind, nor thieves, nor covetous, nor drunkards, nor revilers, nor extortioners shall inherit the kingdom of God. Our inheritance is the kingdom of God. Our birthright inheritance is the kingdom of God. Of course, that birthright is given to us by Christ. But if we become unrighteous, we cannot inherit the kingdom of God. What is unrighteous? Unrighteous is the opposite of righteous. And what is righteous? Psalm 119 verse 172, my tongue shall speak of thy words. All thy commandments are righteousness. It says there in Psalm 119 and verse 172. The mark of the beast, for those who don't know, goes against the righteousness of God or the keeping of the Ten Commandments of God. And again, it is important to watch those two documentaries I mentioned in the beginning and to know that the mark of the beast has something to do with worship, even a day of worship, because Revelation 13 and 14 tells us that those who worship the beast receive the mark of the beast. Now, the beast being the papacy, they say themselves what their mark is. The most prominent mark the Church of Rome has placed on modern Christianity today has been the change in Sabbath observance. That sign has been a mark of power ever since Justinian. The Catholic Record of London, Ontario, September 1 and I think it's 1923. It says there, Sunday is our mark of authority. The church is above the Bible, they say. And this transference of the Sabbath from Sabbath to Sunday, this transference of Sabbath observance, they said, is proof of that fact. By keeping Sunday, Protestants submit to the Vatican's authority over them. Sunday is in direct opposition to one of God's commandments, which the Bible calls righteousness. And those who break the commands of God are become unrighteous, and they cannot inherit the kingdom of God if the commands of God are broken by those individuals. Now, what can be a motivation for breaking the commands of God, in turn turning over your birthright or inheritance of the kingdom of God? Food. Remember the story of Jacob and Esau? Need I say more? Jacob saw a pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint. And Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with the same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy what? Thy birthright. And Esau said, behold, I am at the point of dying, he said. What profit shall this birthright do to me? And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he sware unto him, and he sold his birthright, his inheritance, unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Esau sold his birthright for food. Esau sold his inheritance, his salvation, his entrance to the kingdom of God for food. Will there be a food shortage in America, especially because Trump is cracking down on undocumented immigrants? I don't know. But preparation is important, isn't it? Find yourself some land to buy and become self-sufficient. Guys, we have a book to offer for those who want to become self-sufficient, who want to learn more about being self-sufficient. If you go to www.sfp.center and go to our store, go to the book collection, and there you will find a bundle that includes the Natural Remedies Encyclopedia along with the books that will teach you self-sufficiency. Again, that's www.sfp.center. Link is in the description box below. Once you guys get there, go to store. Once you go to the store, there's a book collection right there, and the very bottom row, here it is, the very bottom row, there's the Natural Remedies Encyclopedia along with no-grid survival projects, self-sufficiency books right there. It's a bundle. Guys, that time is coming where we can no longer buy or sell. We need to prepare now. We need to start thinking about these things now. If you guys were blessed by this, please like and share. Special thanks to everyone who has been supporting this ministry. Special thanks to Chemical C, Daniel, Morshed, Diane, Ashley, Marianne, Anthony, Sherry, Jimena, Team Alarm Trumpets, and Amanda. Thank you guys for the donations. For those of you guys who want to support, you guys can do so by praying for this ministry and donating at www.sfp.center/support. The link is in the description box below. Please consider supporting by making a one-time, weekly, monthly, or yearly donation. We truly do appreciate it. Or you all can also join the SFP membership program that comes with perks. Click on the join button below this screen right here to check out the perks. Thank you all for the support. It is because of you all that we receive many emails and messages from people who have been impacted by the content and the documentaries that we have been publishing here at SFP. These documentaries are quite expensive to produce, and it's all thanks to our supporters that we are able to do what we do. Remember that here at SFP, the advancement of the gospel and the word of truth are only made possible by the Lord and you. So if you guys want to help us reach more people out there with the gospel, please pray for this ministry, join the SFP membership program down below, and consider donating at www.sfp.center/support. All the links are in the description box below. Praise God always. Peace. Avocado grease.
Oh, come, oh, come, Emmanuel.
A lot of people are buying into this ideology that when Jesus Christ comes back, that his feet are going to touch the ground and there's going to be a 1,000-year reign on earth.
When Satan is actually bound to this bottomless pit, it's translated, it's actually the Greek word abusos.
And ransom captive Israel.
As long as we are abiding in the Lord and we are growing in sanctification, He gives us victory. He transforms us.
Jesus referred to the need to overcome 7 times.
That mourns in lonely exile here.
There is nobody on planet Earth for that 1,000-year period.
The Bible is very clear. There's a period of time where there's no one alive on earth. Jeremiah chapter 4.
Until the Son of God appears.
The wicked dead are resurrected one more time so that they could receive their eternal punishment.
They're judged and then they're cast into the lake of fire.
The reason why the fire is eternal is because the fire is God.
Rejoice, rejoice, Emmanuel.
You know, God can give us victory over any temptation, over any sin, as we just keep our eyes on Him.
Only the saved can obey. If you're not saved, you cannot obey. Without Jesus in the heart, you cannot obey. And because only the saved can obey, only the obedient will be saved.